What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us here today on the VSO Gun Channel. Should you flinch? Well, it depends, actually. So there's flinching and then there's recoil management. There's a difference between the two. There's recoil anticipation and then there's recoil management. And they give you two different results. And what we're going to do today is demonstrate the difference between the two. So really quick, to give you a lead in, Blacklist Industries Glock 19 here. Shooting Fiocchi ammunition. I don't have anything in the gun right now for this demonstration, but when we've got the gun, if we move the orientation of the gun during the firing sequence, that is a flinch, and you should definitely be made fun of for that. Like if you see that, if you see one of your friends do that on the range, it should be followed by ooh or something like that. But what is not a flinch is striker falls and then the gun moves orientation. And what that is fighting the recoil. So we have to think about what the gun's going to do. The gun is going to discharge. It is then going to recoil, slide's going to reciprocate, and then we want to fight that gun back down to where it was so that we can get a fast follow-up shot. If we don't do that, and you see the gun go off and the gun does not move, while they have good fundamentals, what they're missing is the fighting of the recoil to get you reset. And that is going to slow you down, and the gun is going to be in a different orientation. When the gun comes back down from recoil, it'll be at a different location than where you put it, and then you're gonna have to fish around, reacquire your sights to get back on target. All right, guys, so here we have an example of Wombat, and no, I'm not picking on him. He had an excellent shooting string here, but he was the only one that we captured that had an actual organic flinch in a sequence. We tried to do this with snap caps and it just came off completely wrong. You could tell that we were, war gaming it and stuff like that. So if we take a look at this thing, you can watch his front sight and see it move before the shot is broke. That is an example of a flinch. Continuing with an example of it being used correctly. Yes, I know that this is an example of me. It's not like that, but this is actually the only one that we captured that, again, didn't look war gamed. This is with a snap cap, and you can see that there's a clear break. The sights don't move on the gun at all if you're using those as a reference point. And then there's some movement of the gun to fight that recoil. All right, so what does this mean? What is this good for? Why does this matter? Well, it matters when we're talking about follow-up speed on shots and being able to maintain accuracy. So the difference between the two, if we do it incorrectly, and flinch, it looks like this. Right? See them all right like that? Versus recoil mitigation looks more like this. Where they're all where I wanted them to be. If I wanted to put them all on the head. So fight the recoil gives you a tight group, keeps you on target, doesn't get you all over the place. However, if you're doing like deviation, mostly for us right-handed guys, our deviation is going to be low left. So if I exaggerate the flinch, low left of the group where I was aiming, low left, low left. Now at this distance, we're talking about still on the same target. Not a big deal. But for instance, if we turn this direction and we go to that piece of steel there, if I flinch, it looks like this. I missed by, I don't know, 5 feet. It's probably 30 yards, something like that. So if I do it again, even farther. Whereas if I don't do that, I get a solid center mass hit. So it does not matter how awesome you are at sight alignment, sight picture. If you change the orientation of the gun during the trigger squeeze sequence, it doesn't matter because you're going to miss. Most of the time, appreciably, because you've changed the orientation of the gun during the part of the sequence that matters most. I hope you guys learned something here today. I hope that this was informative. If you guys thought it was cool or you learned something, please smash that subscribe button down below. Share it around to all your friends. Maybe you can bring them into the fold here at the VSO Gun Channel. There you go. You're getting it. See? Now, that shot that you did on the head here, though, I want to point out that you had one here, and then 2 right here.
Yeah.
Right? So
that though.
yeah, that was good. That was done properly. So that's either dumb luck or you were actually doing it properly.
I think that I just have to get the timing right on it.
No, it is a timing thing. Like, it is absolutely, I think you mentioned something earlier. You absolutely, this takes a lot of practice.
Oh, if you don't shoot it like crazy, there's no way.
Yeah, it takes a high volume of ammo to get this concept
And I
down.
just naturally, I basically just kept pressing the trigger as fast as I could. Really is about what I did. It just,
well, there's a lot of stuff going on. You have to align the sights properly so you know you're back where you were.
I mean, I didn't press the trigger until I saw my front sight. But my front sight is probably, you know, all over the place. It was just
true,
proper amount of counterforce and timing.
But the other thing is that if you're doing it right, if you shoot a lot, then you can get back to anatomical stasis,
right,
where it's in the same spot. You may not even need to confirm your sights at a distance like this.
Sure.
You may not.
I mean,
you may shoot
class,
like
from the hip,
like for instance, the group that first group that I shot, or the one where I was properly managing recoil, I did not look for my sights. I just know that the gun was in the correct orientation. And yes, did that make the group, you know, that big?
Stretch out a little bit, yeah.
Certainly it did, but the balance is the speed. So there's a lot that can be done with that, but it takes a lot of ammo, lots of practice. Yeah. You cannot do this with dry fire practice.
No, you can't.
No, it has to be learned
on paper.
Yeah, it has to be learned with live fire. Yeah.